Hello and welcome to this episode of Peak Life. Today, we are celebrating 10 years of AskHRGreen.org, the regional organization that does all things environmental and lots of great work here in the city of Chesapeake. With us to talk about that is Katie Cullifer. Katie, you've been there from the beginning. Thank you so much for being here today to help us learn a little bit more about this great organization.
Thank you for having me. Excited.
So let's go back. I mean, it's been 10 years. Where did Ask HR Green come from, and what was it before it existed?
So we've been working together throughout the region on environmental education initiatives for probably 20 plus years. The Ask HR Green was kind of the culmination of bringing some different regional environmental focuses together. So we have kind of four groups that make up the backbone of AskHRGreen.org. We've got our stormwater pollution prevention group. We have a recycling and beautification committee, our water awareness committee that has folks come in together from utilities who talk about water conservation and tap water awareness. And then our fats, oils, and grease education group, which is always a fun one, the FOG, that help remind people to keep those items out of their drains so that they flow properly. So behind the scenes, we have these four regional groups. They come together on a regular basis. Used to meet in the same room. Now we meet virtually most of the time, but just to share ideas and resources, and really just, to work together on something that impacts all of us in Hampton Roads. We all have, something at stake here and want to make it a cleaner, greener place to live and work.
There are, especially in this region, there are so many things that each municipality does, and it's the same exact thing that, all of our neighbors do, and probably nothing more so than the environment. The air quality and the water quality does not necessarily abide by the city line. It's our issues here are the same as in Virginia Beach, as in Norfolk. So that's a really cool piece of it. Now, does that also factor in to how it is funded and how, who actually goes to these meetings? How is all that figured out?
Yeah, so we have representatives from all 17 jurisdictions in the region. So as far east as Virginia Beach and Chesapeake, west over to Southampton and Surrey County, all the way up to the peninsula and our friends up in James City County and Gloucester. And so that's pretty remarkable when you think about the impact of that size of a region. They all work for our local municipalities, so either in public works or public utilities roles. They are doing this work day in and day out on their own permits and regulations, but it makes sense to do this work together and pool resources. When we go and do outreach, we can buy a radio campaign or TV campaign for Hampton Roads. You can't do that just for Chesapeake. And budgets are not always the biggest here locally. And so by pooling those resources, we're able to get a lot more bang for the buck locally, and have those dollars go a lot further when we do it regionally. And it just, it makes sense. We're all promoting the same things. We all want to encourage environmental stewardship with our citizens. And they live and work in different localities often. They may live in Chesapeake and commute to Norfolk for work, or vice versa. And so, the same messaging applies no matter where you are in the region.
So how does the community, the public, factor into this? How do you get them involved? Are there events? Are there opportunities to volunteer? How can just everybody kind of get in on this?
Yeah, so first I would say go to AskHRgreen.org if you haven't yet. There's a great events calendar, or just calendar in general on the website that promotes public events, workshops, special collections for, we have America Recycles Day coming up. We promote there any local opportunities to participate in those types of things. Every spring, we're doing the Great American Cleanup across the region. If you want to, roll your sleeves up and get your hands dirty and help with a local cleanup event, we always have information about how to get involved there. If you want to know about recycling information in Chesapeake, you can come to askhrgreen.org/recycle. Click on Chesapeake and we'll tell you everything that's accepted in your curbside bin, where you can take special drop-off materials, what things to keep out. And we try and, just pull information from our localities so that, we can have great representation. You come to the website, it is regional, but you can find information that's specific to where you live as well. And we're at events. In 10 years, we've been to hundreds of community events.
Wow.
We have a great trailer. It's hard to miss. It's like a 20-foot trailer wrapped in Ask HR Green branding. And we go to events. We hand out promotional materials and informational brochures. We answer questions, a lot of questions, hence Ask HR Green. And just share information with residents. And we, over the years, have seen people come back to us. They remember us. They ask us for that grease can lid or dog waste bag holder that they got at the last event. And, it's just great to kind of have that recognition in the community after, 10 years of doing this work.
I think it really shows people finally realize that this really is their one-stop shop for all things environmental, no matter where you live in Hampton Roads, which is so exciting that people are catching on and they're kind of becoming your spokespeople. Talk to me a little bit about some of the grant programs. You have a little something for everyone, and I think it kind of changes year to year depending on what you have funding for. So give me an idea of the kind of grants that you're able to work with.
So we always have an environmental education mini grant program, and that's open to anyone working with youth K through 12. You can get funding for up to $500 for an environmentally themed project. We accept applications year-round. We haven't yet, knock on wood, run out of funding. So I encourage people to apply all the time. It's, not just teachers. It could be youth group leaders or scout troop leaders or someone just working, with a local group of youth trying to do a community garden or starting a recycling program. And so that is a really, in 10 years, we've given away $95,000 or more in funding for those projects.
That's
and that's
amazing.
Actually impacting children, getting them connected to the environment in a meaningful way. So that's something we're really proud of and hope to see more of in the years to come. We have a pet waste station grant program, so communities, civic leagues can apply for a pet waste station to put in their community. It's a free station that they agree to maintain. And then, folks in the community walking their dogs have a convenient place to get pet waste bags and dispose of them properly, and keeping that out of our local waterways and off our streets, and so no one steps on it.
Bonus.
Just this past year, we launched a cigarette waste receptacle grant program, and that's really catered to our local business community, encouraging either employees or guests to properly dispose of their cigarette butts. We know cigarettes are the #1 littered item in America.
Wow.
Hampton Roads is certainly no different.
Yeah.
So it's a big problem that all of our communities face, and again, we have a great regional solution to help folks mitigate that.
Well, what are you seeing moving forward? You've already done so much work over the past decade. Surely we're done, right? There's nothing more to do. Like what do you see moving forward? What are you going to be working on?
I would love to say Hampton Roads is as clean and green as it possibly could be, but that's unfortunately not the case. So we still have work to do moving forward. I think, we're seeing more and more talk about solar. We've got offshore wind happening. I think we're, looking to move more into the energy arena and encouraging folks to, drive greener, live greener in their homes. There's certainly lots of tips and a wealth of information that we hope to continue to, promote to the public in the coming years.
My favorite thing about AskHRGreen.org has always been not only how easy it is to access all the tips, but kind of like that discovery that most green actions are actually a lot easier than the non-green actions. It's easier for me to just let the leaves lay or to mow them into my grass. It's easier than bagging. It's just as easy to collect all that yucky fat in a container and then throw it out. Do you feel like people have been surprised once you have actually able to have those conversations with them at really how easy it is to do the right thing?
I do. I think, when it comes to lawn maintenance, you can often skip the fertilizer. Like you mentioned, the leaves, you mulch mow them. That's natural fertilizer for your lawn. You've got to mow anyway. It's a lot easier, like you said, than, breaking them and bagging them and having that back-breaking labor. Or just let them lie. It creates a beautiful and natural habitat for, our insects who need shelter in the winter months. So, I think when, the more we have conversations with people, the more they are open to trying something new or thinking about something a little differently. And I think that's just encouraging to have that connection with the public. And we're always getting questions. And I think one great thing about Ask HR Green is we might not know the answer, but we often know the right person, like in your city or county, who can give you that specific information you're looking for. So if you ever have a question, for something going on in Chesapeake, let us know. We will connect you with the right person or right resource to help you with whatever your task might be.
That's great. So we're going to send everybody to askhrgreen.org. You guys are all over all the social medias, right? Is that how people say it? It sounds like a very old person way to say it. Follow them on the
Follow
social
us.
medias,
Yeah.
And look for events so maybe they can come out and see you and say hi and really get to work in their community.
Yeah, we'd love to see you.
Great. Katie Culliford, thank you so much for being here with Ask HR Green.
Thanks for having me.
That does it for this episode of Peak Life. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.